fuck? What the fuck is that? Well, you've seen the intro, and you've seen what we're going to be reviewing today. Today, we're going to be reviewing Arizona Tea. Just kidding. Today, we're going to be reviewing the RTX 5050. Well, this Arizona Tea bottle was mid. Let's crack open our piss poor financial choices that we're most likely going to return to Micro Center after this video. Come on, come on. Okay, come on. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. This isn't padding. This is egg carton protection. No wonder why this 50-50 was so cheap out of the rest. What? It's single layer protection. Oh, Zotac. This is crap. Well, here's our Zotac card. Single fan. Got that autism enclosed fan design. Like, the fan blades are a single circle, so you don't, I don't know. I actually have no idea why this design choice was even made. But whatever the choice, it's probably going to be our least power efficient card in this entire household has ever seen. Now let's peel off those damn stickers. Peeling this off. Peeling this off, we've got no backplate, which is actually kind of rare for a modern card. Yeah, I don't think there is this color. Ooh, PCIe 5.0 connection, and no GDDR7. This was supposed to be the Blackwell card. The Blackwell card for budget gamers. But what do we get? We get a 4060 that's been lobotomized and PCIe 5.0. That's it. This thing isn't even efficient. And it's in terms of design from the cool Zotac. Plastic, single fan. We'll have to see. We'll have to see during temps if you should really cheap out and lose the other fan. This is the 50-50, and I don't expect it to be a microwave in terms of temperatures, but I don't expect it to be very good in temperatures because it is one singular fan, and compared to the other cards, they have two. So we'll have to see. So here's our test bed. Yeah. Very Asian sounding noises. So here's our test bed. It's originally been gonna be the flip PC, but due to circumstances, this is going to be our guinea pig that's gonna house our little 50-50. I do not feel bad for this thing at all. Because some sucker is going to end up with the non-functioning USB 3.0 on the back of this thing. And what do I mean by non-functioning 3.0? The I/O on the back of this motherboard does not read the peripherals unless they are plugged in to the top USB 2.0 connections. For whatever reason, the Canadian refurbishment site did not fix that. So I have now suffered the consequences of cheaping out and getting a B660. But for now, that's tomorrow's problem, or potentially someone else's problem, whoever purchases this thing's problem. For now, we're benchmarking the legendary 5050. It kind of doesn't fit. Well, never mind, it does fit. I feel like Xavier from the Renegade Angel. And then the other screw is gonna be screwed in by magic of video editing. Now that is screwed in, we now plug in PCIe 5 8-pin connection. Okay, let's see if this thing works now. Now, in a very comprehensive diagram, I'm going to explain why the heck I need to switch PCs to test this RTX 5050. Now, assuming future me has done the correct thing and animated a diagram of why, hey, the 5050 has a new home, let's actually test it in this new home. No longer are we bottlenecked by the i3 in a few games. We are now going to be with the full power of a mighty beast, the i5 14600K. Let's get to the benchmarks. In World of Warships 1080p Ultra settings, we see that our RTX 5050 is doing pretty well for a non-ray tracing game, non-DLSS game, or depends on what your definition of DLSS for World of Warships is. I don't know if I think World of Warships only supports FSR 1.0, so not much of a priority here. So you won't see that slurring over your precious USS Montana while you're trying to have a decent game. But anyways, enough insulting DLSS. We see that in regular titles like World of Warships or anything similar you might play, we get pretty decent FPS. Although I wouldn't call that decent, as if we look at our latest video, the W6600 video, this is almost the exact same numbers and for the exact same settings. The W6600 is how old? It was released on June 8th. June 8th, guys. A card from the June of 8th is doing the same performance as a card that came out from early July of 2025. Obviously, it's going to be better at ray tracing in Cyberpunk and more DLSS features. But it's a lot of NVIDIA. But as a lot of FSR fans like to argue, let's strip away the NVIDIA features. And the unfortunate thing for a lot of NVIDIA fans is that they kind of have a point. What is the 5060? What is the 5050 without their Blackwell features? It's just the 40 series given a new name. But if the RTX 5050 9GB with GDDR7 is any better in terms of temperature and power efficiency, I might give it a look. But for right now, we're looking at the 8GB GDDR6 version. So let's cry here. Although I should not be talking about our CPU, since the title of the video is RTX 5050 review, where it's actually pretty underutilized. And that's, to be fair, this is a i5 14600K, and that's something you would usually pair up with a 5070 to 4070, maybe a 9070 GRE if you actually have class in gaming. So you could probably skimp away on more money if you're building an all brand new system, if you can afford the RAM, with an i3 12100F or 1411200F if you're feeling
if you feel like the architecture difference is worth anything at all. And you could probably get away with a lot of things. Although what I would recommend is just get an AM4 system, or buy a pre-built, slap a 30 series GPU into it, the 3060 or 3070 marked goods, and looking at the current prices of a RTX 3060, we're actually doing pretty well. Ish. I wouldn't call that good. Oh, well, I thought I was looking at the 3060 for a second. That is not a 3060. This is a RTX 3070. But anyways, back to the topic. If you slap such a card in, you can have a decent, pretty performance. But don't expect your but don't expect your house to like that very much, as your wall outlet's probably going to be drained more, and your room is going to heat up like a lamppost the minute you clock your PC into higher game settings. Yeah, enjoyment comes the cost of room temperature. Unless you live up in the north like me and you crack open a window and suddenly you're freezing cold. In Spaghetti Code 2, we see that the RTX 5050 is doing pretty decently. Again, I say decently because I don't have anything else to describe it. It's doing everything a regular card would do in Team Fortress 2, rendering the game normally and not realizing it's being utilized at all. Actually, 50% is pretty decent utilization, and 80 watts is definitely no power sipping, so we could guess it's being decently utilized ish. Asterisk, because this is I forgot to tell, this is 1080p, very high settings. Maximum settings for from Team Fortress 2, and some minor anti-aliasing. Pyro, no. And some minor anti-aliasing. So I guess this would be more of a struggle for any other card. If said card was the GTX 660. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with NVIDIA innovation? Ramageddon is making GDDR6 not available, so they decided, let's make the RTX 5050 a 9 gig card now. And as long as it's priced the same price, I can get around to that. But with the bit bus being sawed off from 128 bits to 96, the memory speed boost is very marginal. But as I heard, GDDR7 is more efficient than GDDR6, so we might get a temperature bonus from this card. Alright. Well, it's single cooler. Well, the single cooler design will definitely get a boost, and most likely our ITX owners will have a boost as well. But do we get a power efficiency boost? No, we don't. In Cyberpunk 1080p high settings with some fiddling in the DLSS department and ray tracing, we see that we're doing actually pretty crap for a 50 card. Normally I would fiddle with the settings until it's a decent number, but for now I cranked it up to high, and it's a bit of a mixed review bag for me. In some scenes of Night City, you're just cruising along and suddenly your FPS tanks, and my eyes kind of hurt staring at this at times, so I don't really much playing Cyberpunk. Ooh, just nearly hit that van. But here we are with our CPU you doing nothing again, and our RTX 5050 being the main bottleneck. Actually, lots of CPUs can actually lots of times the CPU is stronger than the GPU, because believe it or not, a 5090 can be bottlenecked by a 12400F in this game. I know, right? Some fans don't believe it, but here we are in Cyberpunk with some ray tracing, and our GPU, basically forgetting that it's very very livid. 71 degrees is very high for a GPU, and and 120 and averaging 120 watts for power is, oops, we've been spotted. Averaging 120 for power draw is that's definitely more efficient than some cards, I will admit, for the FPS we're getting and the features we're getting. But that's definitely no penny pincher. What am I saying? This is a penny pincher. Most likely will be more utilized if we had this in PCIe 5.0 right now. But the performance gain will be 0 to none. Actually, none to 0, because, right, other way around mathematically. So if you drop this thing in a PCIe 4.0 system, you're safe. If you drop this thing in a PCIe 3.0 system, just get an RTX 3056 gig. This card is not worth your time. And if you're thinking about, and the 3050 shouldn't even be mentioned more than once. It is the 50 class of GPUs have always been budget orientated, decent FPS, and etc. But looking back at our predecessor, the GTX 1050, not the TI version, the 2 gig one that slots in with no external power needed, was a pretty decent card. Obviously, you're not going to be using that in 2026, but at least it could fit in a variety of systems that most broke people owned. This is going in no one's computer. Unless you're an ITX fanatic, because this is the single fan Zotac version, and it would definitely fit in your case scenario. But in regular use, and I'm talking for most all 5050s out there, it's not gonna happen. I don't know what the heck I was thinking when I did all those voice recordings all in one take. I need help. But anyways, final thoughts. The RTX 5050, it's demonstrated itself to be GPU material. Yes, GPU material. It's not a GTX 1080. It's not a 3060 in efficiency, and it's not even 3056 gig versatile RT. What does this thing get in terms of ranking or any achievements of any kind? Sparking the most controversy in the YouTube tech department, because people can milk this thing for hours. Oh, still need to remove the screw. Surprisingly enough, the funnest part of my day actually reviewing this card as a whole, was drinking that tea. And my motherboard exploding. And no, it's not from the effects of this thing, so no, putting in Zotac parts does not make your PC explode. Anyways, leave a like if you liked the video, leave a dislike if you didn't, comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe. Bye!